Literature with Purva. In the last weekend, we talked about The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, and in this video, we are going to talk about another modernist poet, William Butler Yeats. At first, we are going to look at his poetic style, his poetic influences, and then discuss two of his most important poems, Easter 1916 and Sailing to Byzantium. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then do subscribe to it and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video is posted on this channel. So W.B. Yeats was born in Ireland. He was a founder of the Rhymers Club in London and the Irish National Theatre or the Abbey Theatre in Dublin along with Lady Gregory. He received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. He also wrote the English preface for Rabindranath Tagore's Gitanjali. His unrequited love for Maud Gonne was a major influence in his earlier poems such as The Second Troy, where he compared Maud Gonne's beauty to the beauty of Helen of Troy. Magic, mythology, and symbolism are the key characteristics of W.B. Yeats' poetry. The most common and recurrent symbols that we can find in his poetry are that of the moon, the mask, and the gyre. Now, what makes W.B. Yeats' poetry special is that he packs in an entire worldview in a short poem of 4 to 5 stanzas. That makes his poetry really special. So now we are going to take a look at two of his most important poems, Easter 1916 and Sailing to Byzantium. If you are preparing for UGC NET, then let me tell you that plenty of questions are asked from these two poems. Both these poems are written at a later stage of his poetic career, when he came out of his imaginative fairyland in search for truth and knowledge. The background of Easter 1916 is the Easter Uprising, in which a group of Irish leaders rebelled in front of the Parliament in England to ensure home rule for Ireland. Being a nationalist, W.B. Yeats was deeply anguished by this event because all these leaders were either imprisoned or they were executed. Therefore, W.B. Yeats couldn't stop from expressing his anguish in this poem, and that's why he decided to write Easter 1916. In this poem, he celebrates the 5 leaders who took part in this rebellion. At first is Countess Markievicz, who was a lifetime friend of W.B. Yeats. She was a nationalist and she was imprisoned. She was not executed just because she was a woman. Countess Markievicz is referred to as that woman in the poem. She was an Irish nationalist and a prominent figure in this rebellion. Next, we have Patrick Pearse, who is referred to as this man. He was an orator and founder of a boys' school. Next, we have Thomas MacDonagh, a poet, critic, and academic, who is referred to as the other. And then we have Major John McBride, the husband of Maud Gonne, who is also referred to in this poem. And in the last stanza, W.B. Yeats talks about James Connolly, a trade unionist who played a major role in this Irish rebellion. Apart from Countess Markievicz, who was a woman, all the other 4 leaders were executed and killed. So in the poem, again and again, W.B. Yeats used this phrase, "A terrible beauty is born." Now, what does he mean by saying a terrible beauty is born? Like terrible and then beauty. What does this phrase mean? It means that the most glorious moments of history are often moments of death. On one hand, everyone is going to remember this Irish rebellion as a victory for Ireland, as a testimony to the courage of the people of Ireland who revolted, who protested. But at the same time, so many courageous Irish leaders died in this rebellion. Therefore, W.B. Yeats tells, a terrible beauty is born. Now, from this poem in UGC NET, they often ask that who is that woman or who is this man in this poem. Therefore, it is very important to remember all the 5 leaders that I have mentioned, because questions are frequently asked in UGC NET about the leader. After Easter 1916, it is time to take a look at one of the masterpieces of W.B. Yeats, Sailing to Byzantium. The theme of the poem is the dichotomy of flesh and spirit, art and nature. The voyage mentioned in the poem is an inner spiritual voyage towards wisdom and an escape from passion and materialistic life. Historically, Byzantium is a meeting point of pagan and Christianity. So it is also a happy symbol for the unity of flesh and spirit. The poem opens with the line, "That is no country for old men." The embracing couple and the birds chirping on a tree are symbols of natural vitality. They are a disturbing presence in front of an old man who is experiencing decay of the flesh. So by this stanza, W.B. Yeats has tried to show us that chasing sensual pleasures is often a waste of time compared to the monuments of unaging intellect. Wisdom does not age, but the body will ultimately age and perish. So it is better to chase and pursue wisdom than to go after sensual pleasure. The second stanza talks in detail about old age, when physical decay makes a body looks like a tattered coat upon a stick. In Neoplatonic terms, it is said that the body is like a coat that the soul puts on at the time of birth and then leaves it at the time of death. The old man is embarking on a spiritual voyage to Byzantium to learn about his powerful and pure soul, monuments of its own magnificence. In the third stanza, the poet talks about the desire to escape from desire. The old man can see the sages standing on fire in the holy city of Byzantium. He calls the sages and tells them to be the singing masters of his soul. The motive of fire burning is for self-transformation. The heart needs to be burnt away because it is the seat of illusion. It is the seat of desires and wishes. So therefore, this motive of burning in fire is used. In the fourth stanza, the old man wishes to be a mechanical bird made by the Grecian goldsmiths. He wants to be that bird made of gold and sit on a golden bough in the palace of the emperor at Byzantium and sing songs. Now, what does the poet tries to show through this? He tries to show that art is a mediator between flesh and spirit. Just like the soul, art is timeless. Art does not perish. And so he uses the motive of the bird, the golden bird made by Grecian goldsmiths. You must remember the phrases that I mentioned in Sailing to Byzantium, such as monuments of unaging intellect, monuments of its own magnificence, tattered coat upon a stick, because these phrases are frequently asked in UGC NET. So I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, then do give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. I'll be back next weekend with a brand new video on a literary work or a literary theory. Thank you so much for watching.